Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the World Conflict Monitor channel. Please subscribe to my channel to stay updated with the most important breaking developments from the world's battlefields. Today, we are diving into one of the most intense updates yet, a shocking turn in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine has struck back with new energy, surprising both its allies and adversaries, and the battlefield is once again shifting in dramatic ways. At the heart of this story is resilience, strategy, and the element of surprise. After months of heavy Russian offensives, Ukraine has launched a coordinated counterattack that stunned Russian positions and brought back the focus on Ukrainian capabilities. Reports from the front lines reveal that Ukrainian forces managed to push through certain defensive belts that were once considered impenetrable, striking Russian convoys, ammunition depots, and even Hive-Al-U command posts. The message is clear: Ukraine is not backing down, and the war is far from one-sided. This is a story of endurance under pressure and the will to strike back against overwhelming odds. From the exterior view, what we are seeing on the battlefield is a complex and shifting landscape, marked by destruction, fortifications, and constant adaptation. Russian forces had spent months building fortified defensive lines, digging trenches, laying minefields, and constructing barriers meant to slow or completely block Ukrainian advances. Yet despite this, Ukrainian troops have been able to breach some of these fortified layers with a combination of intelligence, precision weaponry, and small unit tactics. Drone footage circulating online shows armored columns advancing under cover, artillery barrages targeting enemy positions, and rapid breakthroughs that demonstrate both courage and coordination. Externally, the war zone is scarred with burnt-out vehicles, destroyed tanks, and shattered towns, but within this environment, Ukrainian troops have been able to carve out key territorial gains that send a strong message to Moscow. Looking at the interior side of this struggle, what becomes clear is the determination and morale of the Ukrainian people. Soldiers report long days under fire, constant drone surveillance, and the psychological toll of war, but also a burning determination not to surrender their homeland. In towns liberated by counterstrikes, civilians greet Ukrainian forces with relief and pride, offering stories of survival under occupation. Inside command centers, Ukrainian military leaders work tirelessly with international partners, coordinating strikes, gathering intelligence, and adapting tactics to Russian responses. The interior of this story is one of unity, resilience, and an unbreakable willpower, even when resources are stretched and casualties mount. When it comes to performance, Ukraine's counteroffensive demonstrates both strengths and limitations. On the one hand, Ukrainian forces are proving capable of mounting complex assaults that break through seemingly indestructible defenses. Precision artillery, long-range missiles, and Western-supplied armored vehicles have played critical roles in increasing battlefield effectiveness. Performance is visible in the mobility of Ukrainian units, the speed at which they adapt to battlefield challenges, and their ability to strike Hive-Al-U targets. For instance, the use of HIMARS rocket systems has been devastating against Russian supply lines, cutting off ammunition deliveries and reducing Russia's ability to sustain its offensive operations. On the other hand, performance is constrained by the sheer size of Russia's military machine, its reserves of manpower, and its relentless use of artillery. Yet, even within these constraints, Ukraine has managed to perform far beyond expectations, delivering results that resonate across the global stage. Safety features in this context are not about traditional protection, but about survivability on the battlefield. For Ukraine, safety has been ensured through the integration of advanced defensive technologies, including anti-drone jamming systems, mobile air defenses, and heavily armored vehicles that protect troops during advances. Western tanks like the Leopard 2 and Challenger 2 have brought better crew safety compared to older Soviet-era models. Ukrainian units also rely on trenches, camouflage, and deception tactics to minimize exposure to Russian strikes. Civilian safety remains a top priority in liberated areas, with humanitarian corridors, evacuation efforts, and rapid clearance of mines and unexploded ordnance. Safety here is relative, always threatened by missile strikes and artillery, but the continued emphasis on shielding both soldiers and civilians highlights the layered defense strategy Ukraine employs. The unique selling points of this counteroffensive and Ukraine's recent battlefield performance lie in adaptability, morale, and international support. Unlike Russia, which relies heavily on sheer mass and brute force, Ukraine leverages precision, creativity, and intelligence sharing with allies. The ability to use smaller, more flexible units gives Ukrainian forces the edge in breaking through weak points and disrupting enemy command structures. The Ukrainian spirit, fueled by the defense of home and identity, creates a psychological advantage that Russia struggles to counter. Another unique selling point is the integration of advanced Western technology with Ukrainian ingenuity, such as modifying drones for specific battlefield roles, or quickly adapting to new weapons systems provided by NATO partners. These unique elements combine to create a fighting force that can punch above its weight and maintain global attention and support. When discussing price, the cost of this war is staggering and must be measured in both blood and resources. Ukraine pays a daily price in casualties, with thousands of soldiers and civilians suffering under the constant bombardment. Economically, the country faces immense strain, relying heavily on Western financial and military aid to sustain its defenses. Russia, too, pays a heavy price, losing men, tanks, aircraft, and international credibility with every passing month. Sanctions have crippled parts of the Russian economy, while military losses in both equipment and morale are mounting. For the international community, the price involves billions in aid packages, arms shipments, and humanitarian support. But for Ukraine, the most meaningful price is the human sacrifice, the soldiers who give their lives to push back the invader, and the civilians who endure hardship to preserve their nation's independence. In conclusion, Ukraine's latest counterstrikes mark a shocking and powerful reminder that the war is dynamic and unpredictable. Despite months of Russian advances and the weight of a larger military machine, Ukraine has shown it can strike back decisively, reclaim territory, and disrupt enemy strategies. The resilience of the Ukrainian people, the adaptability of their armed forces, and the continued backing of international allies combine to keep this struggle alive and balanced. This is not just a fight for land, it is a fight for identity, sovereignty, and the future of an independent Ukraine. As we close, remember that what happens on the battlefields of Ukraine does not stay contained within its borders. The outcome of this war has global consequences for security, alliances, and the balance of power in Europe and beyond. Ukraine's strikes back are more than tactical victories. They are symbolic acts of defiance that remind the world that aggression cannot go unanswered. Please subscribe to the World Conflict Monitor channel for more in-depth analysis, updates, and insights on global conflicts. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned as we continue to monitor the battlefield and reveal the stories shaping our world.